Hello there, guys. Now we're gonna be going into the finals of Oversalt tournament in the bronze to top 500 tourney. I'm sitting here with my co-master IQ. So how are you doing today, IQ?
I'm doing great, man. We just casted the semi-finals with Dramatic Gaming. Excited to see how they perform today in the finals.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see these kind of two, actually kind of like a bottom tier 3 teams that almost say go up against each other in this tournament, especially on Junkertown. Junkertown is kind of a wild card when you're looking at map pool.
That is very true. You often see sniper-based comps, but then you can see that the bunker is very strong as well. Sometimes you'll see like second phase, it changes completely to like floats, but then again, double sniper can also be played. Seems like the blue team here are just going for straight up standard. Oh no, it's Moira goats.
It looks like question mark is gonna want to spawn camp our
So the reason they picked the Moira over the Zen there is for the burst healing that the Moira gives, so they can just quickly get into the faces of Dramatic Gaming and just survive longer than the Zen allows them to.
Yeah, and of course also because of the sustain compared to DPS composition. And it looks like Dramatic Gaming is gonna be coming out on the double sniper, and now they know the competition of question mark. It's gonna be a Moira Goats versus Zen Goats lineup right here, and we have question mark trying to keep them in spawn right now.
Now, if I was Dramatic Gaming here, you'd want to see them go through the high ground. Oh no, they use speed boost to just get out.
Both bubbles are used from Dramatic Gaming. Klodowski going down though from question mark, and Halo getting knocked off the map there. And it's gonna be a quick fight win from Dramatic Gaming. So what made them win that fight so heavily?
I believe they were just poking, waiting for a time for just baiting out cooldowns from the blue team. Because obviously staying right next to the spawn, they're going to take a lot of damage unless they use the cooldowns. Dramatic Gaming held onto that speed boost. Obviously counted it down and just ran out, targeting that Reinhardt, and managed to overwhelm him. Using both their Zarya bubbles really quickly just to get that initial huge damage onto the Reinhardt killer.
Yep. So now we see both the teams facing up here. Bubbles getting used to try and farm charge. Just gonna be the normal goat setup here. Friendly bubble used on Klodowski here, and a huge shatter coming in from the Reinhardt of Dramatic Gaming. It's gonna finish up this fight before it even starts.
Now you saw there the Reinhardt just built a lot of ult off that first fight. They were like, we can just commit a singular ult into this fight with the shatter. If it lands, just clean up and then get ready for the next one. Unfortunately, you see Diva got de-mech'd and used the bomb just to get back into the mech. So they won't have the grav combo coming up into the next fight. Whereas the blue team will be coming up on their grav combo soon.
Yeah, and now we're just gonna see the teams fighting for high ground here. Both entire teams is on high ground here. Both friendly bubbles used, and there's huge shatter from Klodowski taking down the enemy Reinhardt. And now they're just gonna be pressing W into the enemy team. Graves comes out from Ace though. It gets Transcendence and countered, and
I do think they might be swapping the composition. I really hope they didn't wait. Oh my god. Okay, so that Ace wasted his grav there. He didn't manage to realize that all his team were dead. It was pretty much just him and one other person, and he used grav.
I don't even think it was. I don't even think it was a complete waste, since Starboy still used Transcendence in it. They could probably have survived without the Transcendence, but he panicked because he saw the grav. And now we see the grav combo coming in from question mark, and the charge into Reinhardt makes him go down to the Diva bomb. And now it's just gonna be another clutter fight, trying to pick up more staggers. Maybe kill Ace so he doesn't have that charge for the next fight. Klodowski going a little too aggressive, and both Klodowski and Cloud falling though. And Diwali is just gonna come in and save Dramatic Gaming and let them clean up the rest of question mark.
Now you saw that the blue team managed to get a good foothold on the fight with the initial pick with the Diva bomb, and then after that they got way too aggressive. They just started pushing into the spawn, dropping from different angles, and Dramatic Gaming were able to just overcome them one by one, using the rally to just give them that extra edge in the fight and win out.
And we see Ace coming up on another grab here. He's probably going to use it close here in choke. And let's see what's gonna happen. Yeah, the grab coming in from Ace and the beat trying to save Klodowski, but a little too late. However, they trade for the Brigitte, but there's gonna be a huge shatter coming in again from Dramatic Gaming Ryan. And Diva Bomb is also used from Dramatic Gaming. And it looks like this fight is all over the place again. Question Mark really trying to make something happen with their ultimates here. However, the trance is coming in from Dramatic Gaming, saving the point. Klodowski coming back for spawn though, landing a huge shatter, allowing Question Mark to clean up Dramatic Gaming and hold the point.
And that was a really risky play. You saw committing both losing the Reinhardt and then committing the Transcendence afterwards. They were just like, look, we can get to the point fast enough. We have the closest spawns. Use the Transcendence to just put added pressure onto the Reinhardt and sustain until the team comes back. And then Klodowski just lands a huge shatter and kills them.
Yeah, now we have a grab combo from Question Mark, and we're gonna see how that develops. But Dramatic Gaming takes the payload and the defensive position first, with the grab combo coming in now, finding Ace as a first pick. Klodowski, however, charged way too far into the backline and gets punished for it, and that means another shatter from the Reinhardt from Dramatic Gaming. However, it gets tranced, and Question Mark is able to keep up. Cloud is getting a bit too deep and gets punished for it by the Brigitte. Now it looks like the Question Mark is just going to get cleaned up, and this point is going in the favor of Dramatic Gaming.
You noticed there that Question Mark lost their Zarya and their Reinhardt. Zarya being a huge damage dealer in the GOATS comp, and the Reinhardt just allowing to soak up so much damage that Question Mark just lacked in that fight. Whereas the Dramatic Gaming had their Reinhardt present that fight. He landed a shatter, just kept cleaning up after although the trance was used.
And now
this fight, I believe they're going to engage with the rally, try get onto the point quickly, and force some support ults out of Dramatic Gaming while building the grab combo.
Yeah, but first they need to get Dramatic Gaming off of this high ground first, otherwise they're gonna have hell raining down from above by the Zarya, and Zarya gets booped off the high ground and getting chased by all of Question Mark. Question Mark was not able to find the kill in time, even with the rally. Now this fight is in the stall. There's a shatter onto Halo, however it gets no value. Cloud finding a pick onto Yippee and Ace answering with one onto Klodowski. The Brigitte is pushing in far here and is probably gonna get punished from shooting here. Now we just have the cleanup from Question Mark. Charge coming in, demaking Halo. That was a really good charge, demaking Halo there in the last fight.
I think he realized most of his team were dead. He's just like, you know what, I'm gonna go in, build some ult charge, build that shatter for the next fight. Hopefully being able to use that to win the next fight. And you see huge ult economy from both teams here. However, Question Mark doesn't have the grab Diva Bomb combo, whereas Dramatic Gaming do have that Diva Bomb to add that huge amount of damage into the grab.
Yeah, this fight is really gonna depend on who uses this grab first and forces out resources, and how that's really gonna determine the outcome of this fight. Just see the spam coming from high ground, shooting and looking for the grab, but it's Ace to pull the trigger first, and the grab combo coming out, and a counter grab from shooting. It comes onto the payload, finds nothing though. Diva Bomb finds nothing, gets blocked by Ace with a personal bubble, and now Question Mark is in trouble in the small room. They try and survive with the rally, but it's just not gonna happen. It looks like that Dramatic Gaming is gonna be able to clean up the rest of Question Mark here. However, the Reinhardt does fall, and they might actually be able to recontest here. Question Mark have a chance of coming back and taking this point.
That was really smart from Dramatic Gaming there. You see that the grab came out, and then they counter grab to deny Halo getting off his Diva Bomb in an effective position to kill anybody.
And now we just have a staggered fight. Reinhardt trying to solo shatter the Martyr there. Oh, the Martyr dies before the shatter lands. That's gonna be map 1. Dramatic Gaming finishing with time left on Junkertown. So IQ, do you think we're gonna see any swaps and compositions here, or is it just gonna be another GOATS v GOATS matchup?
Well, having casted Dramatic Gaming last in the semi-finals, they seem to love their GOATS and the GOATS variations. The only interesting thing will be to see if what question mark comes out on the defense here. Will it be a bunker comp? Will it include double snipers, which is also very viable because of the long sightlines on the first point. But I do expect Dramatic Gaming to roll on their standard GOATS composition.
Yeah, and it's actually going to be really interesting at this when Dramatic Gaming was attacking. We actually saw him kind of start out with that DPS comp to start off with, but had to swap goats, counter question marks goats out in front of the spawn. But it looks like it's gonna be another goats v goats matchup here, or at least we have Dramatic Gaming on goats. Probably gonna try and hold close to the spawn as well.
You notice this time they opt for the Zenyatta instead of the Moira. So I'll be interested to see if they actually decide to hold the spawn, or do they decide to hold just under the bridge. Looks like they're going to go for a spawn camp.
Yeah, and what we actually saw last round was that last round Dramatic Gaming realized that question mark was running a Moira, and they knew they could just win the fight easily in a Sen goats versus Moira goats. But now
Discord
let's
is
see
huge
if,
on that Reinhardt.
yeah. But now let's see if question mark can realize that they have Yubika on Zenyatta, and if they go on DPS combo or just go counter Sen goat. They scouted the
scouting coming out. Looks
Yeah,
like they're going to stay on the match them up with the Rhine goats versus Rhine goats.
Yeah, and as the Reinhardts walk towards each other, Firestar coming out to build that orb charge. Bubble already used. If Reinhardt gets booped up, but gets saved again by his team, Kadowski getting booped all over the place and falling into the backline of Dramatic Gaming, and Yubika coming in with the triple kill though, is cleaning up question mark, farming that Transcendence in that fight.
Now, a big part of neutral fights where no ultimates are available for either team are the boops in Goats versus Goats. The CC that Brig can do and Lucio boops is huge to turn over a team fight, usually displacing a Reinhardt, putting him far into the other side of the enemy team, and just wiping him.
Yeah, and we see shooting and just trying to farm some energy.
Toast has gone onto the Bastion here.
Have the high ground here, just raining hell onto the payload, and then and they're forced to take the right side building here. Now let's see, shooting it finds a pick onto the Reinhardt from Dramatic Gaming, and now they're just gonna rush in and just clobber the rest of Dramatic Gaming and win this fight. Toast is flopping back to the Brigitte now though.
No, whoever called out for that Bastion swap obviously is a high IQ individual. They noticed that the Dramatic Gaming were holding really close in the open. We can catch them off guard with the Bastion, just get him on high ground, play the Reinhardt like an Orisa, and just out-damage the Ryan and force him to back off, and if he doesn't back off, he dies.
Yeah, now we're gonna see if shooting is gonna be able to get his grab off before Ace farms it. And the gap is closing right now between the two Gravitons. The Shatter hits Ace, and now let's see if there's any follow-up. However, Zenyatta from question mark falls, and now it's gonna be a 5v6. And Dramatic Gaming is gonna be able to just clean up question mark without a problem here after that Zenyatta pick.
That was really good boot by the Lucio there. When the Reinhardt shattered, he boops him into the air, allowing Kadowski to just block the shatter, but still the Zen gets picked off during that time, allowing Dramatic Gaming to just push forward and just roll over and clean up the fight.
Yeah, and barely
both
any
grab Diva Bomb
ultimates
combos are ready here.
Yeah, now we're gonna see a heavy ultimate fight here. Ace pulling the trigger first on that grab, and the bomb coming in as well. It gets no value though, but another huge shatter coming in from the Dramatic Gaming. However, it finds no value, and now we have the grab bomb combo coming in, finding 3 people on the side of question mark. Question mark is now gonna be able to return the favor and clean up the rest of Dramatic Gaming and probably cap this point.
What was interesting to see there was normally you see both teams, once the grab's committed, the enemy team just responds with the grab immediately, but question mark just held on to their horses, waited a little bit, allowed Dramatic Gaming to just invest a load of ultimates, and then just come in with their own after Dramatic Gaming used a lot of cooldowns to keep the Reinhardt alive after the shatter.
Yeah, now we're gonna see this battle for high ground again. Right now, question mark is taking the payload. I want to push the payload here out and
See
maybe
Cloud,
try
he's
to
looking for a
later.
boop. He's climbing up, he's looking for the boop. It's gonna be their win condition to just get a boop off, or they're just gonna get melted by that Zara. She's gonna build grab so much more faster than shooting.
Yeah, and look at the dive onto Yubika. Yeah, he gets forced off of high ground and taken down early. And now this is just gonna be a fight all for question mark. And with that Zenyatta gone, Halo gonna try and contest the high ground here. D-Max D.Va and able to fall back before getting D-Max himself. Ace, however, was allowed to farm his grab a hold on. And we're gonna see another grab bomb combo kind of fight.
That was definitely a fight in the favor of Dramatic. It's unfortunate to see them coming out losing that. What happened was the Zenyatta dropped. Question mark just noticed that opportunity to just kill the Zenyatta. Often during rotations of goats, you can quickly jump on that Zenyatta and kill him. And they'd managed to do that, and then they managed to just win out the overall fight.
Yeah, and we see Dramatic Gaming taking high ground here again. Bubble already used and a shatter onto Ace to try and deny the grab, but the shattered grab comes out from Dramatic Gaming. The trance is a bit too late to save Klodowski, so now it's a 5v6, and it looks like Question Mark is just gonna try and pull out here, abort mission and fall back to spawn. But Dramatic Gaming is not gonna allow them to do it that easily and picks up the Zenyatta as a stagger kill.
I think they noticed they lost their Reinhardt. They still have all their ultimates, like that fight they won on first phase where they just stayed patient. But because they lost their Reinhardt this time, they couldn't counter with their ultimates. They had to back off, reset, and then go in with their ultimates. This fight with the Grab D.Va Bomb combo. See here, both teams are just poking out. Seems like Question Mark are just wanting to get them on high ground so they can quickly rotate underneath.
Yeah, Question Mark is gonna try and flank all the way into Mecca and probably take high ground away from them and go straight to payload. However, the grab comes out, the grab combo inside of the tunnel, picking up 2 kills, both Ace and the Brigitte falls. And now this fight is just gonna be all Question Mark here with the cleanup, farming some more ultimates for this 3rd point.
That's really smart play from Question Mark there. They were waiting for Dramatic Gaming to retake the high ground so they can quickly rotate under them with the speed boost and meet them in that small corridor to get their grab off.
Yeah, and now we're gonna see another ult heavy fight coming in here. Ace is gonna have to grab them, so the grab combo is coming up on the side of Dramatic Gaming. Actually, the big 6 is coming up. And now we're gonna see both bubbles are used and Dramatic Gaming pushing in with a rally. However, Klodowski lands a huge shatter, which gets countered by the Transcendence, and now it's just gonna be all about the sustain. Question Mark coming in with the beat, but 2 people getting blocked off by the closing doors. Grab combo coming in, and it looks like this fight is just gonna go in the favor of Dramatic Gaming. Kind of unfortunate
that fight, the Dramatic Gaming invested their shatter and immediately Graviton surge. That's not something you normally see. So it could have been a miscommunication between the team there, which puts them in a huge disadvantage against Question Mark this fight, who are coming up on their own Grab D.Va Bomb combo. They have the Transcendence, which can be used aggressively here if they notice the grab was used just the fight before.
Yeah, now we're gonna see the fight here in the small corridor. Bubble already used onto Aster's shooting, might look for a grab already. The grab combo is online, so now we're gonna look for the grab here. The beat comes in from Dramatic Gaming. It's another sustained fight, and the grab finally comes in, finds the solo Brigitte. The grab also coming in, finding 2 people. Now she's gonna be cleaned up from Question Mark.
One thing I'm noticing here, it seems like Question Mark are a lot better when they use their ultimates. The synergy, the communication seems to be on point, whereas Dramatic Gaming seem to win the neutral fights a lot more. As we identified in the semi-finals, their mechanical skill is huge on that team.
Yeah, however, one thing that kind of did mess up was that they used the bomb into a non-support ulted Graviton, so they do not have bomb for this fight. That's one less ultimate that we're gonna need to try and take this final point. Both rallies being pushed out here, each team just trying to look for an advantage. Bubble used from Dramatic Gaming, both bubbles out, and Klodowski is just hanging back here trying to farm ultimates since they're at the heavy ultimate disadvantage. Ace really needs to try and look for this grab right now. Cloud using that beat, and they're pushing in with the beat here. The grab comes in, and everyone is shattered, and it's gonna fall that D.Va Bomb. And now this is gonna be the first map going to dramatic gaming.
Now you mentioned that they had the ult disadvantage in that fight, so you would assume they would have played it slow, trying to bait out ultimates from dramatic gaming. But then they aggressed with the beat drop, not knowing about the grav, and they don't have transcendence to counter it.
They did try and counter it with Transcendence, but that shatter from the Reinhardt completely knocked everyone down and allowed the Diva Bomb to kill everyone. So that was a great first map. It looks like we're going to be having an exciting matchup with these two teams right now. It was kind of close, even though we did see Dramatic Gaming pulling a bit farther ahead than Question Mark. I think that Question Mark is going to be able to step up their game a bit throughout this series and probably take some maps off of Dramatic Gaming.
It's definitely a lot more even than the semi-finals which we watched. The thing about Question Mark, which I mentioned before, is the ult usage is a lot better than Dramatic Gaming in my opinion. Except the last fight didn't really show it there. However, you can be fair to them and say Dramatic Gaming had a huge ult economy compared to their few ults. So they would have been expected to win that final fight anyway.
Oh, and we have a disconnect from Halo right now, so the game is gonna be paused. We'll have a little time to talk about this. So we're gonna go on to Hollywood here. What kind of compositions do you think we're gonna be seeing on to like point A, point B, and point C?
Well, point A, because of the high roofs, you can actually play a Farah here. You can get that quad DPS comp going. Even a triple DPS might be even better. But I do believe, from what I've seen so far, Dramatic Gaming is gonna go on with that GOATs. Whereas I'm still unsure about Question Mark, not having seen them long. But I do believe it's going to be another GOATs versus GOATs. You can also see the Winston played here as well on defense because of the high ground control. He's able to just drop down on the point, get some cleave damage, build that primal, and then just retreat back to the high ground, where his team will be able to heal him. We have 5 seconds here just to see what they're going to be playing.
Yeah, and I'm kind of interested to see if they're going to swap up to any kind of DPS composition on the second point. However, the second street phase is actually also kind of really good for GOATs, depending on what the enemy is playing. And it looks like the Question Mark is just going to coming out on that normal Zenyatta GOATs.
I do expect Dramatic Gaming to be matching them with the GOATs here. They know their GOATs is very, very strong. I feel they believe in themselves to win an even GOATs versus GOATs matchup. They're probably going to go for a bit of scouting by the looks of it, picking the Sombra.
They might actually be picking onto the DPS composition. Now let's see what they're actually going to roll out with. They're probably going to scout first and then make proper swaps afterward.
No, it seems like they're rolling out already with the ball. Taking an aggressive stance, Farah's coming out. They're going to go for it. They're going to go for the quad DPS comp.
Yeah, and what we're going to be looking for is Yippee-Ki-Yay taking some space, just kind of spamming. He boosts everyone off of high ground, and this guy's going to be huge. They lost all high ground control now. He's trying to get in onto the Zenyatta, however, doesn't find the kill. And now it's just going to be a lot of pressure coming in from Dramatic Gaming into this little hallway, which Question Mark walked into. And the point pressure is coming, it's just going to come on. The Reinhardt gets hacked and totally broken barrier. Everyone knocks up, and this is just easy pickings for the DPS comp. The ball does fall, but it's a 4 or 5 for one trade. And it looks like this point is easily going to go to Dramatic Gaming. Only need to clean up the Brigitte here.
Now the amazing thing there is Dramatic Gaming didn't need to use any ultimates to win the fight. Usually you'll see a team playing GOATs on defense, notice the quad DPS, instantly run to them stairs and just hide out, keep poking on the point, keep the contest meter going, not allowing the ticks to build up and force some ultimates out of the second team. But pretty much you're not going to win a fight against quad DPS unless someone on the enemy team makes a mistake. That's why it's such a good counter, because if the whole team plays it properly, the GOATs comp isn't going to be able to do much.
we just see mind games coming in here for both teams. Dramatic Gaming actually swapping off of every single one of their ults, which I kind of disagree with on this point. Because shooting a picked Widow instead of anything else. Now we're gonna see the GOATs matchup here. easily finding a pick onto Toaster, and now it's just gonna be all dramatic gaming for this point. And this is actually gonna be the last proper fight that Question Mark is gonna get on this point. The next one is gonna be a very staggered and chaotic fight at the end of the point.
Now you see, not a lot of ultimates coming online due to Question Mark being rolled on the first fight, and then Dramatic Gaming just having switched to the goats. I'd assume that they're just gonna go for a shatter here. Question Mark can initiate with the support and see how they go from there.
Yeah, and Question Mark might actually not know they have Shatter. It gets blocked though from Koldowski. A really good block there. Both Brigitte stunned out. Toaster gets charged but gets saved by the B. Both support ults came out from Question Mark just to rally on the side of Dramatic Gaming, and now Dramatic Gaming is going to be pushing back in when the support ultimate is out. Dramatic Gaming is coming up on that Graph combo right now. Now let's see if they're going to be able to find it. Dramatic Gaming just coming in with the Diva Bomb alone and the Graph separately, each finding their respective kills, and this fight is all Dramatic Gaming finding the second point quite easily.
Now usually you see when a team uses rally, they use that as a way to push hard into an enemy team, but they notice that Question Mark used the support ults at exactly the same time, displaying a bad communication mistake. And then Dramatic Gaming were just like, okay, we're just gonna sit back, let this rally build up, and wait for the support ults to just expire, and then go in.
Yeah, now what you think we're gonna see here? We have Ace up on that high ground behind them, just gonna be spamming down onto Question Mark from the
Question
high
Mark
ground.
do have the Grab Diva Bomb combo as well as the rally. I feel like a rally will come out with the Grab Diva Bomb combo. They should be able to win this fight versus Dramatic Gaming.
And Froki gets picked out early. The Grab combo coming in from Question Mark. The boot finds the Brigitte and the Mag with that Diva Bomb, and now Question Mark is just gonna push out and look for stackers. Maybe they'll be able to catch Reinhardt here, getting booped off of the stairs and directly into Question Mark, getting that stagger.
As expected, they used the Grab Diva Bomb combo, but the amazing thing about that, they only used the Grab Diva Bomb combo due to Dramatic Gaming not having those support, using those support ults. They noticed they didn't need to counter with any more ults to win the fight.
Yeah, now we're gonna see Dramatic Gaming pushing in here again. With the beat, going in aggressively, trying to land that really aggressive shatter, does not work, however. Dowski gets booped into the backline, trying to shatter, however, gets blocked and picked off. Now the rally coming in for Toaster, trying to keep the rest of his team alive after losing their Reinhardt. The enemy Reinhardt gets booped in quick, and now it's going to be a Reinhardt-less fight. Toaster going down as well, and it's back to a 4v5. However, Klodowski coming back from that early spawn is going to be able to help the rest of the team. The Graph is coming out from Ace, the Graph combo from the team, and they find the bash onto the Reinhardt to get the kills. So they kill them through the Transcendence as well. And this might actually be a point taken from Dramatic Gaming, shooting and trying to desperately grab him off payload so he can contest here. Shooting, it gets picked out quickly, and now it's just going to be a staggered fight here on point. How long is Question Mark going to be able to stagger this fight for?
And I think that last fight, you saw Dramatic Gaming's confidence again being shown. They lost their Reinhardt, but they're like, we don't care. We're going to demech this Diva, send out the Grav, Diva Bomb combo, and they're like, we have Lucio and Brig. We can stun or push out the Rein, and then they get the Diva Bomb to kill 2 people there, and then they just win the fight.
We definitely saw some kind of dominating gameplay of Dramatic Gaming here, finishing Hollywood with about 2.5 minutes left.
Really strong push from them.
Now, do you think that Question Mark is gonna want to swap up some of their compositions here when they're seeing that they're kind of getting out goats at this point?
I think in the current meta we have, quad DPS can be a good counter to goats, except on last phase, I would say you want to stay with the goats just because it's so narrow. The DPS won't be able to get many angles on the goats composition. Whereas the first and second phase, I'd be surprised if Question Mark don't go for the quad DPS, because they should notice Dramatic Gaming are just overall better than them at the goats composition.
Yeah, we're either gonna see a swap in compositions here, or or Question Mark is really gonna try and step up their game here to follow up on dramatic gaming here. Keep it up.
It was disappointing to see as well because last game I might have cursed them, but I was praising them for their use of their ults. But this phase, this map, they double support ulted, which is something you really hate to see from a team at this level as well. Seems like they are gonna go for the goats versus goats matchup.
Yeah, so now we're gonna see both teams coming in with the goats here again. And we have Dramatic Gaming just set up on the high ground here.
D.Va missed her boosters there. They had to use armor pack onto the D.Va there just to keep her alive. That could be something they could take advantage of.
Yeah, and now we're gonna see Question Mark taking onto the point here, shooting and finding a great D-Mech here. Klodowski again getting picked off in the backline. Toasted going down as well, and now the fight is back in the favor of Dramatic Gaming, pushing into the point here, just trying to finish off Question Mark.
That was amazing to see there. You think they D-Mech the D.Va so early on that Question Mark would have just had that free win there. But then Dramatic Gaming just turn on the gas, they speed into them, just overwhelm Kodolski, which seems to be a pattern that's happening in all these fights. And once they've lost the Reinhardt, having a baby D.Va is still more effective than not having a Reinhardt in the fight. And they managed to just pull out here.
One thing that's kind of keep reoccurring is Klodowski hitting these charges, but he charges way too far into the backline. A rally being used just to jump onto Question Mark, and the fight is over before it has even begun in the rotation.
Oh, the stagger on the D.Va's coming out too. This is the most painful thing for an off-tank. Just trying to get back to your team and they're not letting you.
Yeah, and Froki's finally gonna put the Halo out of his misery, sending him back to the spawn, and putting Question Mark on a bit of a hold here before they can engage in the next push.
Now ultimates are going to be coming online here for both teams. Only Rally came out from Dramatic Gaming there, so it'll be interesting to see how Question Mark play this. Are they going to stay in the open for a long time, or are they going to quickly... They're matching them in the open here.
And this time, it's a repeat of the last fight. However, they used beat this time, and they shooting actually did find the trade onto the enemy Reinhardt, but it just sadly was not enough. Looks like Halo's gonna get demeked here again, and another stagger coming in.
He's in a different location this time though. Oh, they finish him off straight away. They have mercy.
Yeah,
Halo just gave him a look. Halo was like, please, just let me go back to my team, and he was just like, okay.
Yeah, now we're gonna see the Brigade from Dramatic Gaming almost having another rally here, but Question Mark has the big 6 going into this fight. Now we're gonna see how they use these ultimates, how this fight turns out.
Now it seems like the rotations have been very clean from Dramatic Gaming, but they're gonna match them in this alleyway here. I believe this is just to make the Gravs come out in a nice clean zone, a close quarter zone where they can get the combos off.
Yeah, rally coming in early from Toaster and Beat as well, pushing in early. How the bomb comes in and finds the D-Mech onto Halo, and the shatter onto Question Mark finds everyone. That's another fight won from Dramatic Gaming with minimal ult use.
You'd think the Grav would come out there, but they noticed that Question Mark used their beat drop, they used their rally to just get into the fight. They were like, we're just going to send the D.Va bomb, push them back, allow the Reinhardt, that is Astrus, to take some space and then just shatter the enemy team as they're focusing on the D.Va bomb.
Yeah, now we're gonna see here the final push coming in from Question Mark. However, I think they're gonna try and get
the sneaky grab from behind. He was hiding in the security room.
Yeah, and but how no one dies yet, and the grab coming in from Question Mark, and the bomb gets added to it, finding the rest of the kills, and Question Mark is going to be able to take this point away from Dramatic Gaming, denying the full hold.
It was interesting to see there, because Dramatic Gaming have just been playing that high ground, playing the rotations as a team, jumping on the Question Mark, and then just finishing every fight off. However, this time you saw that ace was going for a flank. He hid in security room, hit the Grav off, but because of the distance between the rest of him and the team, the Grav wasn't being able to follow up on.
Yeah, we saw actually Halo again using his bomb into an unnecessary grab there. Again, they would really have loved to have that bomb going into this fight here. Now they only have a Shatter and Rally coming up. Aster's getting booped in and Bubble needs to be used on him. Get him back out of the fight. We're just gonna watch question mark here. Pushing up. Vroki getting picked off up high in the streets. Both rallies coming out, and it's just gonna be one big fight here. Aster's actually falling.
Oh, they're committing their grabs to this fight.
Yeah, they commit the grab, but unfortunately for them, Sterpo has different plans and versus Q into that graviton, and they find no value in it.
Against Strebel, you could have argued you could have argued that using the trance there wasn't necessary. The dramatic gaming had already lost 3 people.
Now we're gonna see the grab combo coming in from question mark in this team fight, and it looks like they're just gonna let it rip right off the bat. Transcendence coming in, but the Froki used his beat, but landed right above onto the Diva Bomb and gets picked off early. Both Lucios are down from both teams. How shooting was so deep in the back line, he gets picked off as well. And now question mark has to disengage in this fight, and they're just gonna go in and try and build ults for the next fight.
It was interesting to see them commit there. Maybe they were just thinking, let's use the Reinhardt to just charge in and allow the rest of allow the team to not get staggered by dying on the payload.
And here we see question mark grouping up in choke again. Now Dramatic Gaming is holding really far compared to where the payload is. Ace actually getting grouped a bit away from his team, dropping really low. Briggy needs to be used on him, but he falls back to his team and is safely tucked away in the backline again.
I feel like Rally will be popped here by Dramatic Gaming just to give them sort of sustain in this fight. But I see question mark winning this out if they play this properly.
Yeah, and Froki getting picked out again by Toast. Both the Rally and the Beat coming in from question mark, and the
huge counter shatter
from Asters is gonna make sure his team stays alive, and the trance that came in is now gonna be used into the graviton. The grab bomb coming in, they find a whole bunch of kills. Both teams just trading and trading, but it looks like this fight is going in the favor of question mark. Again, gonna be able to pull out the last fight of the point in overtime. It's like how they took the first.
That's what I like to call the fireworks show. Both Grav Diva Bomb comes out, the trances come out, everyone's pressing Q because it's overtime, but question mark managed to just use their ults a lot better, combining them with in sync, and they managed to get the kills.
And we're gonna see an early fight coming in here. Bubbles being used from Ace just to build up that energy. However, the Brigitte gets picked out early, and now it's a 5v6 here. Diva get democked as well. And now I think it's just gonna be a staggering fight. And question mark is happily gonna take the ult charge and the staggers. However, if you look at the baby Diva, she's trying to sneaky contest the payload, but gets found out by the Brigitte.
I think that's the only thing you can do as baby Diva there. You've lost your mech. To avoid the stag, you stay on the payload contesting it. The team have no option other than to kill you. Now both teams coming up with a lot of ults this fight. Question mark can have all their ults but the Shatter, whereas Dramatic Gaming are going to have all their ults but the Rally and the Diva Bomb.
Yeah, now again we're gonna see which Zarya presses Qs first. Both Brigitte is in the same sync and uses Rally at the same time. Grab coming out and the Grab Diva Bomb, it finds Ace and Kaldowski gets traded. The Transcendence coming in from question mark, keeping everyone alive, shooting and finds Asters. Now it's just gonna be one hell of a fight here. Kills going back and forth. Oh, the fight looks like it's going in the favor of question mark, being able to clean up the rest of.
See, question mark there, they managed to keep their Zarya alive in that fight where Dramatic Gaming lost both their Ryan and the Zarya. Without that Zarya, there's just such a huge amount of damage on the other side where they have the Zarya. They're able to kill everyone else on the enemy team and take a good stance for the next fight.
Beat coming out early from Cloud here. The Grafs get eaten. Ace's Graf gets eaten by Halo, and it looks like this fight is actually gonna go into Question Mark's favor. And Question Mark is gonna be able to tap this point in overtime, allowing them another shot. Draw this map, if I'm not mistaken.
That was an amazing clutch coming out from Question Mark, just showing off their ability. They said, we're not out of this game. This is ours to win. They activated overtime in the later ends of second phase there, and they managed to stay on the payload and win every single fight after that, which is not something you often see in GOATs. You would assume Dramatic Gaming would notice the overtime, just happily build 6 ults, allow Question Mark to just keep using their ultimates until they see the right time to just engage with all their ults like they tried to do in second phase. But the only issue there when they used all their ultimates on second phase is that Question Mark also had all their ultimates, so they were able to sustain that and win that fight. If they were a bit more patient, they could have allowed Question Mark to use their ultimates and then come in with their own ult advantage and then wipe it, especially during overtime.
Yeah, and now we're gonna see the real challenge coming in from Question Mark. They have to hold the first point, the first tick, for 2.5 minutes against the composition that rolled them the last time. So they're gonna actually be swapping it up here onto the Bastion Baptiste Soldier composition. They're probably looking out for this quad DPS again.
That's exactly what they're doing. They've noticed they're going to play the quad DPS as something Dramatic Gaming have obviously practiced versus GOATs. Now they're going to go on the bunker. The bunker allows the team of Question Mark to focus fire on one target, denying Dramatic Gaming of all that space they need. The reason they can kill the GOATs comp is because they stay out of the range of it, whereas bunker, you can't engage on a bunker comp, but with the added Bastion and Soldier and Narissa, you have a huge range as well with bunker comp.
Yeah, and we actually saw A swapping from the Tracer onto the Ashe just for the more spam here. The spam fight has already begun. We see the Hammond trying to flank from behind them, maybe looking to boop someone out onto the point. Immortality field already used from the side of the mat, or Question Mark, sorry. And the picks on to Cloud and the D.Va make this out. Now it looks like Question Mark is gonna be in huge trouble with the tick almost going through completely, and massive amount of pressure from Pharaoh right above him, and they also a barrage just to secure the point if they feel like this map is gonna go into the Dramatic Gaming favor again.
That was really good intelligence shown by Dramatic Gaming there. They noticed the change in composition. They instantly went and swapped the Tracer off to something which can damage the shield a lot more. They focused on that shield break. Once Orisa had no shield, they all engaged together. The thing as well, you notice Asterisk managed to flank around the stairs and boop off a few of the people of Question Mark, and that allowed everyone to just envelop around them. Huge focus fire onto the targets that fell onto the point. Bastion no longer had his shield, had to get out of sentry mode, and then they just slowly picked them apart.
Yeah. So now, from what we've seen now, I actually saw some promise in Question Mark, and that last attack round on Hollywood, they might be able to turn this around. However, it's still gonna be a long shot, but they're not quite out of this series yet.
Now the good thing with Lijiang is, again, I would expect either the floats to be played here by either team or the DPS comps. Now, traditionally with the ball you'd use quad DPS, but that's more of a counter to the GOATs comp. Usually you'll see teams come here with 3 DPS, the ball, the Mercy, and then an added support. You can see the Lucio or the Zen, it depends on what the team wants to go for.
Yeah, and it looks like both teams is gonna be rolling out on that DPS, those DPS composition. Both teams rocking triple DPS.
The main difference here for me is gonna be the Lucio versus the Zen matchup. They both add and subtract things to your team's capabilities of winning a fight. The Lucio on these maps allows a lot of CC with the boops on the bridge and then denying space from the enemy team, whereas the Zen just adds a huge amount of damage. It gets that Discord onto the Pharah, then the Pharah is going to have to play a lot safer than the other side, where the side of Dramatic Gaming, where they're not facing up against the Discord.
Yeah, and we see Question Mark here being able to take a lot of early space due to that Lucio. Oh, his turbo gets hacked and bursted down. Pharaoh win. The Pharaoh from Dramatic Gaming winning that Pharaoh v Pharaoh matchup as well. And it's just
Asterisk
gonna be
going in there
one.
hard. He
It's
booped
just
off
gonna
the
be
Hammond and the Hammond tried to get back up, but he wasn't able to.
yeah. That was just one clean fight. It was all Dramatic Gaming in that fight.
Now, one thing I see here that points out to me is that the Dramatic Gaming are playing a Sombra, which if you hack a Mega on Sombra, you can allow your bull to take a lot more damage. You can just get the Mega and re-engage quickly. He doesn't distract the Mercy, you can still pocket the DPS. Because the Hammond has that Sombra, you can give him all that healing.
That was actually also a massive Mercy pick. It wasn't. The Mercy got hit by the Pharaoh, but it wasn't even because she got killed by the damage. They actually managed to hack the Mercy, so either way, she was gonna fall off the map and die. We see Sombra who's just looking for the hack onto Pharaoh, finds the hack, and Toaster is now just hard on the bridge without anything. Halo might go and try and look for the rest. However, Ace is not gonna let that happen. He's bullying Halo at this point.
Now, the thing I noticed there is that Question Mark decided to go through white, which is the other side of the point there, through that indoor corridor, whereas the Pharaoh Mercy fought over the bridge. Now, they could do Dramatic Gaming notice this, they used the Sombra to hack the Pharaoh, bring it down to the ground level, and allowed that Ace to just go in and pick them apart, pick off the Mercy, because now Mercy has no one to fly to, and they just win that fight with it, while they could just zone out everyone else going through White Room.
Yeah, and we're going to be closing in on basically the last fight here. We have the EMP coming in. Pharaoh hacked again and jumps off the map. Mercy getting hacked and jumps off the map again.
Again, you see there, the side of Question Mark, the bull's going around the left side, someone else is going around the left side, but then the McCree just stands on the bridge. The McCree's not going to survive long against the Sombra Tracer dive, especially with that Pharaoh. He has to focus the Pharaoh, but then he has to worry about 3 other DPS.
Yeah, and that was
Gaming very comfortably winning that map.
And I don't know if you noticed, but it's actually kind of funny to see. They had Halo, their off-tank player, on Mercy, and had Cloud, the Lucio player, on the McCree. So I'm kind of wondering if Question Mark actually has any proper DPS players besides from Toaster and shooting.
I think the thing there about that is a lot of teams you can notice will have players who can flex onto other roles. So I'm assuming Halo won't be comfortable playing the role they require of him, so they get him onto the Mercy and allow Cloud to play that DPS slot. But obviously with Dramatic Gaming, knowing their mechanical skill already, they're not going to have that issue. They can have everyone playing their main heroes. Yeah, see the goats coming out, they notice the 3 DPS comp again and just retreat to the spawn. They're like, we'll happily match you on that. We beat you last round. We'll take it again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and now we're gonna see the Sombra traits of Pharmacy again with that Zenyatta. However, I think Zenyatta's gonna be a little more difficult here with the amount of space that Question Mark already had. But we can see that Question Mark is actually allowing him to have a lot of space. And they find the pick onto Cloud for shooting and finding Yippee though. Gets rest, and now it's just a Tracer fight. Shooting is gonna get caught out without recall here. And it's just one big fight. Both teams trying to find the advantage. Question Mark capping the point first though. Toaster finds the pick onto Yippee and Cloud finds Ace. They only trade for Turbo. And it looks like this going into Question Mark's favor.
Now the thing that allowed that was because Dramatic Gaming came out on that Goats comp. Question Mark were able to just take up a lot of space on the point, having to force Dramatic Gaming to commit to contesting the point with their bull, making him inactive in the fight, allowed Question Mark to just pick apart the rest of the DPS and then slowly just ignore the bull until the time was right to kill him.
It looks like that Dramatic Gaming might actually be becoming a bit too overconfident here and getting picked out at this point. However, shooting it did actually find 2 people in their spawn, so it wasn't quite their fault. We'll see the next fight coming up here with both barrages equally charged.
that Ace finds a pick onto the Lucio though. Now just gonna be moving in, shooting. It gets picked off by Ace as well. Ace finding 3 kills here, popping off on that Ashe. Yippee finding Halo, and this fight is all Ace and Dramatic Gaming.
I was just about to say there. I feel like Dramatic Gaming were just gonna play for that Sombra EMP and then engage off that, but that Ace was like, no, I've got other plans. I'm about to click 3 heads like it's nothing and just allow my team to take the point. And now they have the added bonus of having EMP to contest the defensive round.
And here they find Dramatic Gaming finds 2 staggers onto Question Mark, and now Question Mark has to wait even longer for the respawns to come in. However, they have plenty of time to work with right now, so they shouldn't be getting too desperate already.
You
And
got
just
notice
to
the
say,
thing I said as well about the Sombra, allowing the Hammond to be a lot more aggressive. You see that Kodolski is just having to wait with his team because he doesn't have a Sombra to have hack a Mega. He's not going to be able to feed as much. He's not going to be able to create as much space and then come back and then just enter the fight really quickly. Whereas Asterisk could just enter the fight, get some damage onto the blue team, and then just come back with the Mega.
Question Mark finding 2 quick picks though. This fight goes in favor of Question. They found those 2 early picks onto the Pharah and another person, and that was just easy pickings from that point on.
Now, a lot of ultimates on the side of both teams, but they used their EMP last fight on the side of Dramatic Gaming and didn't get much success from it. I feel like it's going to be a whole out brawl. Both teams are going to commit all their ultimates to win this last fight.
So it's finding both the Ashe and the Mercy with that barrage and stuff of taking out the Pharah as well. However, their Dramatic Gaming seems trying to pull it back into their favor on point. Aster's finding a couple of kills on point. But Slavo finding that boop onto Yippee off the map. Now it looks like Question Mark is going to be able to push in here and close out this map. Or not the map, this stage, my bad.
Now that all comes down to just coming out on that Goats comp, allowing Question Mark to get that space. And then once Dramatic Gaming even retook, Question Mark were just able to come back with a lot more ults the second fight after and then just win the point because they built so much percentage off that first cap.
And speaking of Goats compositions, this is quite kind of the heavier Goats competition dominated stage on Lijiang, and so far we've seen Dramatic Gaming really favoring that Goats and kind of dominating Question Mark on it. Now we'll see if Question Mark has been able to kind of pop up a bit from that victory on the last stage and test them more in this Goat comp.
Now both teams going for a standard Goats versus Goats composition. Usually you see if they have a Mei, they'll fight in that little server room over there. But they've decided to take the point here.
Yeah, and both teams is just going to be trying to look for an advantage. Ace 5 and Halo finds the D-Meg. And now we just have Question Mark here. It's going to want to recharge some cooldowns and then push in. However, Barrier goes completely down from Klodowski. And he gets back into mech. And now they're just going to push into the point here, forcing Klodowski out, and Yippee finds to pick onto Klodowski, and now this fight is just gonna turn all red in the kill feed.
It's another fight where Dr. Fence just loses his mech, but they still don't care. They were more aggressive than Question Mark after losing their mech than when they had their mech. Question Mark should have noticed that they lost their mech and used that as a chance to push in hard onto the Ryan without that defense matrix to keep them alive.
Yeah, now we're gonna have a lot of ults online from Dramatic Gaming here. Beat and Rally coming in from both teams. Tota finding the pick onto his counterpart. The Shatter coming in for Klodowski, probably D-making Dr. Fence here. It looks like right now that this fight is going in the favor of Question Mark. Just having that Reinhardt on the point now, getting a kill onto Klodowski. But
now the thing to notice there is that neither team committed a grab combo there. but they opted to use the rallies and then the support from the Lucio to actually try and swing the fight in their favor. And then Question managed to get the pick on the Brig, and they realized they didn't need the grab.
The shooting and pulls the trigger early on to the grab, and the grab combo finds 3 people. Halo finding that perfect bomb angle.
Now you notice there as well, Dramatic Gaming saved both their bubbles for the grab. But the boot was just too good from Kodolski there that they managed to just displace about 3 or 4 different people. The bomb went off after the grab ended, so the people would have been booped out into different spaces. And they managed to get 3 picks.
We can see another fight here. Astros actually gets stunned out of Shatter by Tuesday. And we also have the rally online right now. And a lot of pressure coming onto Astros. The grab coming in, Dramatic Gaming coming in with that grab combo, finding 3 picks. However, none of them were from the Diva Bomb, but there was just not enough healing or sustain from the side to help them survive that grab combo.
The interesting thing about that fight, that the grab Diva Bomb combo didn't do much in terms of kills, but it managed to displace enough for Dramatic Gaming to just pick them apart one by one. Because Zarya managed to successfully bubble it.
Yeah, in this fight, we're gonna see both teams fighting in this tunnel again. Both teams use this beat here. Froki, however, deep in the backline, gets solo shattered by Klodowski, and they find the pick onto him. And now the rest of Dramatic Gaming is just gonna fall like flies by the hands of Question here.
Now, this is a really interesting map here. Both teams losing then winning, losing then winning. It's crazy to see that not one team can hold that defense for a long time. You're going to see Grav, Diva Bomb coming up for both teams, but Question are going to get it earlier.
Now both teams are activating rally again, mirroring each other. However, shooting it, they again pull out that grab combo in the first place, and Halo finding 2 this time. The boops and these grab combos have been superb coming out from Question. They also find that huge late pick onto Yippee-ki-yay. And
see the same thing there. The grab was activated. The Diva Bomb, they waited a few more, maybe like a second. Then they sent the Diva Bomb. This allows the grab to end and allows everyone to boop them.
That's a huge shadow. It was a huge pick onto shooting, and that bomb finds Halo as well. This fight looks like it's going to be going in the favor of the Dramatic Gaming right here. And they found Klodowski as well, and now it's just going to be cleanup. They're going to be able to flip the point one last time before this map ends. And now Question is in a lot of trouble, only coming up on that sound barrier and shadow here for the final fight.
And the thing is, well, you notice they switched over to the Doomfist for the contested. Zarya is going to come back with 0 energy compared to that Ace, who is currently on 90 energy, who will get 100 quite soon. Yeah, now this is going to be the final fight of this map. They're trying to boop Asher's in, but it fails, and Klodowski misses that shatter. Halo eating another grab. That is huge right now. Shooting is coming up on 40% of the grab, but there's a huge shadow coming in from Asters, finding the pick onto Starpole, and they've traded Diva McPherson and Yada, which is quite a good trade. Klodowski falling as well, and Yippee-ki-yay being able to trans Dramatic Gaming, keeping all of them alive. Ace, however, dying to that Diva Bomb, but the rest of Dramatic Gaming is able to clean out Question, and this is gonna be the map going Dramatic Gaming. And GG's, Dramatic Gaming winning this game with a kind of convincing 3-0 score, dominating the GOATS competition. I think the thing that you'd notice there is that although you'd usually see like one team would favor the GOATS, one team would favor the DPS, but it just seemed Dramatic Gaming, no matter what they played, they were just better than both their opponents in the semi-finals and the finals. I guess this comes down to their long time playing with each other. Over the core of their team has been playing for a year. They know each other's ins and outs. They know the weaknesses of the team, so they can build on that and then come into games like this in the finals. Although they were losing a lot of fights, they managed to win a lot of fights as well, not being fazed by the enemy team, staying strong and sticking to their game. Yeah, okay, so
that's gonna be it for the Oversalt Bronze to Top 500 tournament, and Dramatic Gaming taking first place here in an exciting match. The score doesn't quite tell all of the story, but Question Mark did put up a good fight. So
Yeah, I
GG's to
definitely agree with
everyone.
that.
See ya in the next tournament.
Peace.